So welcome again to my channel, guys. My name is Rosebella Ototo, also known as Bing Bella 254. And today, in the spirit of Valentine's incoming, we are talking about coming from bitter to better, because once it's done, it is done. And we have to accept the situation, process the situation, move on to a healing stage, or start something new, whatever works for you. I would really love to work with psychologists, professionals, because I'm not a professional. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'd love to work with such. I'd love to work with, yes, I've mentioned psychologists, psychiatrists, religious leaders, the counselors in church. I would love to work with youth leaders. I would love to work with teachers, especially in high school. Because they know what is going on with our children. Those of us who have high schoolers, yes, those ones. I would love to work with recovering abusers, because I know there are people who, just like we've all fallen short of the glory of God, there are people who wish to do better in life and treat people in the next relationships better. I would love to work with those. I would also love to work with those who have processed their traumas and they're doing well in life. A lot of us would love to borrow a leaf or the whole damn tree. Today, again, I'm speaking about coming from bitter to better. I'm not yet there, but accepting that you are feeling some type of way following events of your past relationship or whatever situation you are in, even in friendship. If you can admit that there's things you are not happy about, if you can admit that you are processing a few items, I believe that's the beginning of healing. There's a lot of things that bring out the bitterness. It's not just relationships. Poor choices altogether bring a lot of regrets and therefore bitterness. You find you have really wasted your time, something that you knew from the get-go that was not going to work, but you really strung it along, or someone strung you along, gave you breadcrumbs. Today they're treating you badly, tomorrow they're giving you gifts and trips, etc. And before you know it, 5 years, 10 years have gone down the drain. That brings a lot of bitterness. Another reason people get bitter is if that relationship that was supposed to end at the very beginning, a child is born out of it, and now you have to, for lack of better words, you have to deal with that situation or the child. You have to raise the child for the next many years. And in the absence of this person you thought who would be your life partner, so that brings bitterness. But I believe everything is possible. I believe it's possible to process everything and get out of all bad situations. I'm recording this at the parking lot of our offices, so there's gonna be a lot of movement behind me, around me. When you make mistakes and then you see it later in life and you realize it's not the other party that really did you dirty like 100%, when you start realizing these things you also did that brought you to that situation, it makes you angry. And you really don't have to be angry at anyone. You might be angry at yourself. So you're not bitter at your ex or the world. You're not bitter at his friends, his relatives who knew what he was up to. You are bitter because you let your guard down. You were a very bright person. You were on an upward trajectory and you put your guard down for 1 minute, and that made everything different in your life. It turned your life a whole 180. It causes bitterness. Now, the problem with being bitter, because you might also want to know that I have a list of what bitterness does to one person. Number one mistake, especially if you are not willing to accept that you have made a mistake. One mistake leads to another mistake, leads to another mistake. For example, if you don't go for counseling after a bad relationship, if you don't talk to someone after a bad relationship, if you do not take a break after a bad relationship, you might start another relationship, which we call a rebound. And it might not, a lot of the times, it does not help you. You just realize that you have messed even further. All you do is just add to your body count. That person is not going to heal you. He's not the one who broke you. Even the person who broke you cannot heal you. So basically, that is one disadvantage of being in a situation where you're bitter about life and you're not admitting to whatever you did or whatever happened that brought to that situation. One mistake leads to another bigger mistake, and it slows you down. You spend more years trying to remedy the situation. So nothing good comes out of being bitter. So let's talk about the stages, the disadvantages, everything that comes out of being bitter. The first thing is, once you make a mistake and you do not want to admit that you participated in that mistake, you're hiding whatever true feelings you have. So one mistake leads to another mistake. You don't take a break from whatever mistake you did, so you'll create another one in the name of trying to let people think that you are okay and you're not. So you need to stop, you need to breathe, you need to talk to someone, you need to get advice from those who've been there before, older people, people in thriving marriages and relationships. It does not hurt to ask for help.